My name is the super sexy, super fabulous, and super desirable Soraya Sobada. Welcome to Soraya Sobada's Fierce Cooking Show. Today, we have a really special little thing here that I'm presenting to you. I decided that I was going to take the footage from the Food Network episode that I was on, Ambitious Amateurs, back in 2014. Today is September 28th. So it was actually September 27th of 2014 that I was notified by email to be one of the 4 final contestants for this episode of Chopped. So I never got on the camera with you all to really talk about how that was, how that whole thing came about, right? Because thousands of people applied to be on Chopped. I want to say, in reflection, the fact that I was really operating out of a two-spirited aura. I was identifying gay male with knowing this other side of me. And then it was really in my recovery from compulsive overeating and alcohol that I started coming to an awareness that there was another side of me, a feminine side of me. And I started embracing it, and I found a way to express that side of me, and it was through the cooking show that I started on YouTube. And then a friend of mine, she let me know that Food Network was looking for contestants. I applied as Soraya Sobada. Now, when you watch the footage, you'll hear that they introduced me as Soraya Sobada.
You gotta be a special kind of fearless to charge into the Chopped kitchen as an amateur and expect to do as well as the pros. Well, we found 4 passionate home cooks who are certain they're up to that challenge. First up, Soraya Sobada.
I came to the show as the queen of healthy Latin cooking, but in my bio clips, I identify as Jaime Montalvo Jr.
My name is Jaime Montalvo Jr. My day job, I'm a loan specialist. But at night, I turn into Soraya Sobada, a fabulous Latina woman.
I really never really watched the whole episode, still haven't. They don't have this in the actual episode, but one of the judges was like, well, wait a minute, well, they couldn't really understand the two-spiritedness. And I did explain it to the best of my ability for what I knew of myself in 2014. So what I want to say is that Food Network Chopped, throughout all the interviews, I really saw that they really wanted me on the show. And they were super supportive. They really embraced me as Soraya. When one audition where I was done nice. Oh my God, I was like so pretty that day. I was hitting it. That when I was in the studio for Food Network, one location where the preliminary interviews were, like, I was still using the men's room, but I would be decked, looking really good, but walking into the men's room, because, I wasn't going to walk into the women's room. I wasn't ready for that. So many events that I went to, competing as Soraya for the business plan competition, using the men's room. And so the security was like, we don't really think you should be using the men's room. And I'm like, well, look, I am not ready to enter the women's room and have a woman clock me. And I'd rather have a dude clock me the right way. Hit me with your rhythm stick. Hit me. I ain't in the blockhead. So when I had that face-to-face interview and they taped me, and I was all about Ricky Martin at that time, and so that some of the Ricky Martin fascination and romantic obsession with Ricky came through. They loved it, and it was authentic, it was real, and so I got in. All of it worked out. There were many conversations on the phone about my cooking and how I deal with food. I was very open about the fact that this was a weight loss method of the cooking show, that it was about healthy eating. And they were so cool. And then when they taped the bio at my job, I was so flattered, right? Because, there's always a coworker that gives you shade, right? And I had several. And so here's this big crew from Food Network, and I'm so glad Lenke, the job that I had at the time, gave permission for the recording to happen within the facility. Lenke was one of the best jobs I ever had. Really was the best management. They were so supportive. They signed off on the Food Network crew to come in with all of this gear. So co-workers are like, what's going on? So I was like glowing, I was like, You know, and I enjoyed every minute of it. It was a lovely, lovely experience. Every part of it was lovely. And when they came to my apartment in Jackson Heights to do the bio,
Who has a really great cooking show. Super sexy sofrito. I just love Puerto Rican food, but the foods that I grew up with had a lot of fat. I was this fat, frumpy kid with a bucket of fried chicken, so I had to turn my life around. Instead of frying chicken, I would bake the chicken, changing white flour to whole grains, eliminating sugar altogether. Soraya's going to win Chopped.
they were amazing to this gender fluid queer person. So I never got to say that anywhere. And I hope that Food Network hears this. And if anybody's been affiliated in any way with Food Network and you've competed on Food Network on any level, I will say that Food Network was so on point back in 2014 with how they addressed me as a non-binary or genderqueer or two-spirited, because I was not out as a trans woman. Sort of, but not claiming it. I'm very particular with words ever since I transitioned fully. Kind of get the words right. But they were amazing. And I saw the episode, I was sad. Let me do a little bit behind the scenes. Now, the filming, they had stated to me that they were gonna have a full apron. So I wanted to be as comfortable as possible for this, so I didn't wear a bra. And then we get on set and they say, no, it's gonna be an apron from the waist down. And I was very uncomfortable with not being in a bra for the show. You know, running around and my little boobs are jumping up and down. I didn't dig that. That I was uncomfortable with. I don't believe that the participants knew that I was gender queer, gender fluid. I think they may have thought I was a cisgender woman. And I know when it came out that I was, discussion, the judges ask you about, things. And I had stated what I stated about being, my cooking show vibe is Soraya. The gentleman that was in the contestant, he gave shade. Like I felt his aggression, like coming out of nowhere actually, like all of a sudden. And that was uncomfortable. But the whole Food Network staff, the judges were so cool. If you see the footage, you could see that they were really, really, really on point with me.
Welcome everybody to this amateurs competition. There are 3 rounds: appetizer, entree, and dessert. Each course comes with its own basket of mystery ingredients, and you must use every ingredient in the basket in some way. Also available to you, our pantry and fridge. Each round is timed. When the clock runs out, our judges will critique your work on presentation, taste, and creativity. If your dish doesn't cut it, you will be chopped. Please open your baskets for the appetizer round. And you must use chicken tenderloins, paprika peppers, fennel, and ginger preserves. Only 20 minutes on the clock. Starting now.
I see the chicken tenders and I thank the culinary divas from the heavens. I'm gonna make relleno de papa. It's a potato ball and usually it has beef or pork, but I'm using chicken. Today I'm honoring the Latino women that I saw growing up in my family who were fabulous cooks. My cousin Iris, my mom. But I'm doing it with my message of healthy Latino eating.
Gendering me correctly as she. Lovely, lovely. Again, the whole interview process, everything was amazing, amazing. I had so much pride in a healthy way that I needed, and the whole filming and the crew at my house. They rearranged my paintings and stuff to make it picturesque for them, but that was a little but nonetheless, it was an amazing experience. And I just want to say too, the first round, where I missed those ingredients.
15 minutes left on the clock. Okay, so judges, these amateurs are determined to prove that they've got it going on as much as the pros.
We all have had experiences with amateur cooks and people that we invite to our house, and they're amazing cooks.
In all honesty, my mother is who I really learned who to cook from, and my mother is an amateur cook.
I love being a beautiful Latina that cooks healthy Latino food. When the weight started coming down, my creativity blossomed. All this fabulousness started coming up to the surface. Soraya. I see the paprika peppers. I'm gonna add that to the chicken with the fennel. And then I use my cumin, very Latino.
All right, folks, 5 minutes left.
Okay, I use every single paprika pepper in that mixture.
Oh, that's horrible.
And it's disgusting.
If I was not a professional cook, I would not have the nerve to come here.
I would be shaky in my boots.
I'm a mess. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Can I borrow some of your paprika?
Sure.
Thanks. I asked Soraya if I can have a couple of her paprika peppers.
I love ginger. Very cleansing, purifying for the body. And then with the potatoes, a little bit of coconut milk. Excellent fat for your hair. When I cook, I like letting this Soraya, myself, be a role model to be, beautiful inside and out.
1 minute on the clock. 1 minute.
We gotta get that food on the plate.
We have to finish.
I have 35 seconds to get this relleno de papas out of the skillet and on plate. Go, go, go.
Count up your mystery ingredients. Make sure you got them all on the plate. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Please step back.
OMG.
I'm like looking at my plate. I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing the ginger preserves. I hope I don't get chopped.
Amateurs, you have arrived at the chopping block. Your first assignment was to make appetizers from chicken tenderloins, paprika peppers, fennel, and ginger preserves. So what did you come up with, Jackie?
I made a ginger Middle Eastern chicken salad with a paprika vinaigrette. Unfortunately, I did not get the fennel on the plate.
You've created a nice light appetizer. I like the arugula and the frise. They counter the ginger preserves.
Being Middle Eastern, I appreciate the Middle Eastern sort of flavors.
Unfortunately, my chicken was raw. And if I get sick, I'm going to call you and we're going to fight.
Being a lawyer, I'll represent you.
Jackie, thank you. Next up, Soraya.
It is your classic relleno de papa with the chicken, but I missed the ginger marmalade, but everything else got into the recipe.
Unfortunately, I don't taste the fennel. Fennel is one of those things that it's very floral, and if you hide it, you will never find it.
I definitely don't get any paprika peppers either.
Yeah.
But I like the texture of the chicken. It's almost stewed, encased in the potato. Really quite lovely. I also love the coconut milk.
I thought it added a healthy fat, which is what I like to do. I do healthy Latino food because I was overweight. As a size small dress, I'm so proud.
Congratulations on the weight loss. That's
Thank you.
quite an achievement.
Thank you.
And now we go to Tommy.
What I made for you is a chicken, fennel, and paprika dumpling with a ginger preserve dipping sauce.
Your dipping sauce is dynamite. And I like that you use the fennel tops because it has a sort of strong licorice flavor that I think goes really nicely with the ginger.
I like the idea of a dumpling. It's very tasty. The sauce is well balanced. It's a good use of ginger to marry it with soy. Unfortunately, the problem with this is burnt pieces of dumplings.
Even though it's completely burnt on the exterior, some of it is raw, which leads me to believe you didn't have enough oil in the pan.
Finally, Dinah.
I wanted to delight you today with an Asian-inspired fried chicken with sautéed fennel, paprika, and ginger preserves sauté. I'm a hospital administrator by day, but I love all sorts of food. I learned all my best dishes from my mom, and they always have a Korean inspiration.
I can see your love of the food just by eating. There's a lot of understanding about salt and sugar and spice and the apple that's caramelized. The very nice foil for the fennel.
My big issue with this is the peppers themselves.
And maybe you minced it up a bit. It would have been better, but it's really very hard to eat.
Okay. Please give the judges the space they need to talk this through.
watch the show all the time with my wife, and you're sitting there going, and the reason I came here is my wife was like, you can do this. Yeah. Standing there now, it's like, ooh, this is harder work than anything I've ever done.
I always wanted to see myself running around in a chopped kitchen, and I got to do it, so that's fantastic without heels, though.
So it seems to me our amateurs bring an extra level of energy here in the Chop Kitchen.
I feel like Dinah, that enthusiasm really enhanced her dish.
I mean, it tasted like you could order that in a restaurant. You would get that little fried chicken with honey glazed, a fennel and apple salad, and a little spicy dipping sauce.
I totally agree with you, but Dinah put those large pieces of paprika peppers on the plate. I actually liked Soraya's appetizer. Soraya made us something that she ate growing up. The only problem is, where was the basket?
There were no flavors of fennel or paprika, and she had admitted to having forgotten the ginger preserve. But the chicken with the turmeric, it was really nicely done.
Jackie was very enthusiastic. She ran to the vacuum sealer, put fennel in there, some herbs, some olive oil. She was really trying. She tried maltodextrin. But, at the end of the day, she failed twice and still managed to do a dish that was actually very tasty.
There was a great sweetness on the chicken itself. Unfortunately, she had forgotten the fennel on the dish, and my chicken was raw. Frankly, I don't want to be sick.
I loved Tommy's sauce. I loved his unique use of the fennel. I thought it was creative. I loved Tommy's idea. But I can't eat 3 burned pieces of pizza dough that are masquerading as dumplings.
Okay, judges, are you leaning toward the one amazing amateur who has to go?
Absolutely. We have a decision.
I am killing myself for not getting an ingredient on the plate, but I do see the next round in my future.
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Soraya, you've been chopped. Judges?
Soraya, it was wonderful having you here today. Unfortunately, we couldn't discern where the fennel or the paprika was, and of course you had admitted to not using the ginger at all. So we had to chop you today.
Well, thanks, though. I'm sad and everything, but there's always Food Network star. So I'm trying for that, too. I really want to cook, so I'm going to keep going.
Now I'm going to explain. I wish I had pictures of me in the early stages, especially at that time, before the facelifts, before the hormones, before the cranial facial feminizations that I had. There was none of that when I was doing the cooking show. I started in 2008 and got into Food Network 2014. So I wish I had a picture, because if you were to know what was underneath that wig to make me look the way I did what a lot of theatrical folks do who want to emulate, impersonate a woman. I had a lot of face taping under that wig, so there were wires and tape all over my face. I would have to wear a wig cap. There would be medical tape, and then start taping. So there would be tape back here, and then the tape with the wig cap runs across, and then the tape runs across and across and across and gets taped to the medical tape here. Plus, I used to do these wires, which was the Mark Trainer face tapes. They would go attached, and they would lift here like that, and lift, and the medical tape as well would be on. So whenever I would face tape like that, it was so tight on my head, I would have to take Advils or Tylenols, because my head would start throbbing after a couple of hours. So for that taping, I had to arrive near the location on 14th Street and 12th Avenue. I had to arrive there at 5. So I was face taping at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to get there at 5 to start taping at 6 or 7 or something. And so to go through 3 dishes with that face tape, I knew, because of the headache and the pressure of the tape, that I wouldn't last the 3 rounds. So the paprika made it, But what Puerto Ricans use ginger preserves in their cooking. I mean, straight up Latin. And that's all I basically do. Latin with some Italian and some Asian. So the ginger just was not on my mind. The paprika was in the dish because it gave it color and it gave a little bit of heat. The ginger marmalade, which I call marmalade, and it was actually preserves. They're like, oh, that Puerto Rican, she can't get that right. What's up with her? A lot of people have seen that episode and have come to me and say, you know what, the young lady should have been out because her chicken and thing was raw. And they're like, why did you give her the paprikas? I'm like, I used them, and she, yeah, you can have some. So a lot of people have said that I shouldn't have been, disqualified. I shouldn't have been chopped. It is what it is. I just took it for the experience. And mind you that I went through my transition to continue being Soraya on TV. I'm going to say this honestly too, that my transition to Soraya was not a sexual thing. It's not like I wanted to be a trans woman to have more sex or have more power in the dating realm, which I found out I do. That was not my reason to transition, or that I got off, wearing women's clothing and that turned me on sexually to have sex with men. Or I wanted to trick men and bait them by dressing in women's clothes. I'm not going to say drag, but in women's clothes. You could say drag if you want to. That was not the reason why I did Soraya. It was a spiritual thing. It was a spiritual energy that came in me and said, take me on. Let me out of the bottle, like I Dream of Genie. Like, it was that. It was like, look, yo, let me out. Let me out. I want to be on a cooking show. Come on. I fought Soraya for a good 10 or 12, maybe even 15 years. The idea of Soraya came in 1990, 91. Her name came to me then. So I made my transition because I felt that I was a viable brand in the cooking world as a chef. As a chef who is non-binary, who's queer, and now transgender. Like, I felt that I wanted to represent the transgender world in the arts, and cooking, and music, which I'm doing music again now. So I wanted to just express that, the taping and the wires and stuff, because some of my friends too say, oh, you weren't on your game there, like on that day, like, and it's very cruel for people to say that, because I didn't see the stress in the situation, not at all. In fact, the one stress that I did feel there was like when I went to reach frying pans or whatever to do the relleno de papa. They were so heavy, they were like heavier than me. I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna cook? I can't lift this thing, That was the stressor, or not really knowing everything that was in the pantry. They gave us like a minute or two to examine the pantry. It was very weird in that way, but that's part of the challenge. Auditioning, being on there, like it was absolutely a joy. I didn't see the stress in that, or the stress trying to figure out what to cook. I'll figure something out, believe me. I've taken ketchup, rice, olive oil, and some whack MSG Goya Sazon, and made some good rice with that. I will make anything, I don't care. I didn't see the stress in it, and I loved it, every bit of it, because there would be cameras that came down like UFOs. The way I'm cooking, I loved it. Soy una jamona. A mí me encanta todo eso. I love TV, I love film, I love being a part of it. I love media, and I love food. And so I hope you enjoyed the little edits that I did, that I added into this whole segment, but I really wanted to express a behind the scenes experience with Food Network and being on Chopped. I hope that Food Network is still the same way to their contestants. They never said, hey guys, to me. They said on the show, guys, you have 15 minutes left. Back then I wasn't sensitive because I didn't sell my house and go through all these operations to be Soraya, to be a little hypersensitive when the language is not gender inclusive. So I hope on the show they're using gender inclusive language, but they certainly were very LGBTQ pro and friendly and supportive. With the queen of healthy Latin cooking, my name is Soraya Subata. I don't have a lot of subscribers and I don't have high ratings here on this channel. However, I still do my content because I love coming to the camera, and I believe it's really important that we have voices like mine and folks like me who can be part of the world that's not all genderqueer, right? I do songs under the group name IMT, and IMT stands for It's My Turn. So I feel as a trans and as a queer person that it's my turn, maybe your turn, our turn, to have positive visibility in media, in the world, doing what we love to do. And I hope that you see me in that light. Even though, you know, lately sometimes my videos could be very raunchy with my lovely boobs that are healing. So thank you so much for watching, and give a trans or a queer person, they, them, a hug. Give them a hug, because times are hard, honey. And we all need hugs right now, no matter who you are. So be cool with everybody and, you know, spread a little love, okay? Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.
I'm sad and everything, but there's always Food Network Star. So I'm trying for that too. I really want to cook, so I'm going to keep going. I always wanted to see myself running around in a chopped kitchen, and I got to do it, you know, so that's fantastic without heels, though.
It's your turn. It's your time. Take this opportunity to learn and be sure others you do not mind, 'cause it's your turn.